If I had to start building recurring revenue completely from scratch, this is exactly how I do it, step by step, and how you can do the same in your own business. You see, most business owners are trapped in a cycle that's destroying their confidence, draining their cash flow, and just holding back their growth, and they may not even realize it yet. And I too, I was one of those business owners many years ago, but I learned very quickly the power of recurring revenue. And today, I'm going to show you everything that I know, because recurring revenue isn't some luxury or a nice to have, right? It's a difference between waking up stressed about money every month or finally building a predictable business that you can be proud of. And if you haven't seen my previous video on how to build recurring revenue and stop the stress cycle, then I highly recommend watching that as well. In that video, I broke down the different recurring revenue models and the opportunities that you can start today, and why predictable income is the foundation for long-term business success. And it will give you the full breakdown of what's possible. But in this video, I'm going to go even deeper. I'm going to walk you through my personal blueprint, which is the exact method that I've refined over decades, and what you too can use if you have to build your recurring revenue from zero with no fluff, no guesswork, just the real framework for success. And make sure that you stick around until the end, because the last section, it's the one thing that some business owners neglect, and it's the reason they may never reach their recurring revenue goals. My name is G-Cornell, and this channel is dedicated to helping people create their own destinies. I've been in business for 30 years, helping brands sell more of their products and services. So whether you're a young adult, trying to find your path, or an entrepreneur looking to grow your business, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your journey whilst enjoying it along the way. So let's get into it. What made me realize I needed recurring revenue? Now, if I'm being completely honest, the moment that I realized that I needed recurring revenue, it wasn't some big strategic moment or a fancy business insight. It was pure exhaustion and almost on the edge of giving up, okay? I was sick of starting every month at zero. I had no confidence left, and I had no clear picture of how to get out of that slump. And unless you've been there, mate, it's so hard to explain how heavy that feels on you. You can be good at what you do, you can have great clients, you may be making good money, but if the money doesn't land consistently, everything becomes, just totally stressful. And my cash flow was all over the place. One month I felt unstoppable, then the next month I felt inadequate, like maybe I didn't have what it took to be successful. And the worst part, my business wasn't growing predictably. It was like taking one step forward and say 2 steps backwards every month. And it was really getting to me massively. And that's when it hit me. I didn't have a cash flow problem, I had a business model problem. And until I fixed that, nothing was going to change. My initial mistakes with recurring revenue. When I first tried to solve it, I made all the mistakes you can imagine. I went out there, created some monthly service packages, and spent a lot of time trying to convince clients that my services were worth it. But honestly, they weren't. And not because I wasn't able to produce good work for them, but it was all the way that I'd packaged them. I based everything on, say, hours per month, a set retainer for a certain amount of time spent doing their work. And on paper, it looked simple and even extremely worth it, but in reality, it was an absolute nightmare. And when I finally signed a few clients, that's when things started to fall apart. The work, took way longer than I expected. Some clients took advantage of me and just expected me to, do more work than the hours that I'd quoted. And I felt nervous that if I was to say something or complain, that I would lose them. But I soon realized that the recurring revenue business model wasn't scalable, not the one that I had. It drained my energy, it became a burden, and I started resenting some clients because now I didn't have the time to get more clients, or because there weren't enough hours in the day. And this wasn't a business model I could continue with. I just didn't have clear expectations for myself or the client. There were no boundaries, no structures, no clarity, and it spiraled. And within a few months, clients started canceling. And not because they didn't like me, they did. Not because I wasn't good at what I did, I was. And not because the work wasn't good enough, because it was. They left because the value wasn't consistent enough to keep them for longer. And that taught me one of the biggest lessons in business. Recurring revenue isn't about locking someone into a monthly agreement. It's about creating ongoing value that people want to stay for. My recurring revenue model, I do differently today. Now, today, my approach to recurring revenue, it's completely different. And this is where everything has completely changed for the better. These days, I only focus on services that create real long-term value. If we can't evaluate it, if we can't measure it, if we can't look at it and see progress month on month, then it simply doesn't make my list. And all of my services are outcome driven, not time driven. I also make sure every recurring revenue service complements other services which can also add value. And here's one of the biggest shifts. I don't build offers that depend on me anymore. My team can deliver the work, my systems support the work, and that's what actually allows the business to grow. Plus, every single client relationship, it starts with a clear set of conditions, which include expectations, deliverables, and boundaries, and they're all laid out from the outset. This ensures that both my team and my clients are fully aware of the expectations and outcomes, and collectively, we all work towards a common goal, and that is to deliver ongoing value and not just invoices for time spent working. Recurring revenue only works long term if both sides know exactly what they're committed to and what the end goal looks like. My recurring revenue blueprint model. And if I had to start it all over again tomorrow, say from scratch, this is what I would do now. Step number 1. Just start small. Set a recurring revenue target that you can sell to one client. Let's say $500 per month per client. Pick something realistic, pick something valuable, and pick a product or service offering that you know your client needs and would need for 12 months or more. This is the first yet very important step to consider, because if you stuff this part up, then your foundation for success, it's just not going to work. Step number 2, build a simple spreadsheet for growth. Track the compounding effect. For example, one client at $500 per month by 12 months. Then continue with this method until you pick up one new client each month at $500. And if you're successful at doing this and considering each client stays with you for the full 12-month period, well, now by month 12, you will now have a recurring monthly client spend of $6,000 per month, which means you've now generated $39,000 over a 12-month period. And all you have to do here is pick up one new $500 client each month and obviously deliver on your promise to the client. Now, let's just say you want to earn, say, 12 grand per month in recurring revenue. Then all you need to do now is turn that $500 monthly package into a $1,000 monthly package. And now your monthly recurring revenue figure will jump to 12 grand per month, which is 78 grand annually. Now, let's look at a higher tier that you say 2 grand monthly package. Then you can now see that everything starts to get really interesting. You now have increased your monthly recurring revenue to $24,000 per month, which equates to 156 grand in recurring revenue per year. And this is only by picking up one new client per month. Then if you're really hungry, you can scale up from there by picking up more than one new client each and every month. And this is where true growth will be unlocked in your business. When you start to see those numbers on a page, mate, everything changes. You realize how achievable it really is and how you can now start to plan for bigger and better things. But most importantly, depending on how much money that you wish to make, it all comes down to using this model. But the true beauty in all of this is that it will only take you 12 months to achieve any of your targets, and timing is everything in growth. Now, if you want to use my exact spreadsheet, which has all the formulas in place and something that I've been using for decades, then click on the link in the description and it will take you straight to my contact form where you can leave me your details and I'll email it to you directly. So be sure to check it out, as it has worked for me and I know it will work for you too. Which brings me to step number 3, create an irresistible offer. Now, in order to encourage new customers to sign up to your monthly recurring model, you're going to need to provide an offer which not only has value for the client, but also leaves them no room to say no. You could offer, say, a 1 or even 2 month free offer period if they were to sign for, say, 12 months or 2 years. Your offer really comes down to how valuable your monthly recurring service is, to the client. And personally, I would start with a 1 month, free offer and then test the waters and go from there. You don't want to give your services away for free for a long period of time, but make sure at the very least that it will work for your clients and it will work for you too. This will give your clients confidence, and most importantly, it gives you the stability that you've been looking for. Step number 4, plan where your clients will come from. Now, before you go hunting for new clients, you need to establish where these new clients will come from. Will they be from existing customers, from advertising, from content marketing, social media, or from your existing network? If you can't answer that, then you're simply not ready yet. And this is the part where it all comes together. You need to formulate a strategic client acquisition model, because otherwise you'll just be like spending months spinning your wheels, and it could get not only frustrating, but it will also give you a negative impact on compounding effects. Really important. So think long and hard about how you plan to source new clients, because having a great offer, that's one thing. But if you can't secure new clients, then it simply won't work. Which brings me to step number 5. You only need 12 clients in 12 months. That's it. 1 client per month. That's your job. That's all you have to do. If you cannot pick up one new client per month, then you won't last in business for too long. You need to be super focused on this, and not just focus on what you're selling, but on the measurable value that they'll get every month, okay? So it's vital that you can, effectively communicate this to potential clients of the value that they're gonna receive. And if you can do this, then 12 clients in 12 months is not a very difficult task to achieve. So start planning prior to executing, very important. Why you need to be accountable. And finally, the part people underestimate. Remember that this only works if you're accountable. If your goal is one new recurring client per month, then that becomes your absolute non-negotiable mission each and every month. Because if you miss even 1 month, then the whole year gets thrown out. And I can't emphasize this enough, how you need to stay laser focused. And additionally, it's even equally important to deliver monthly value, and you need to communicate constantly with your clients, contract or no contract. If you don't deliver on your promise, then these new clients who you've worked so hard to attract and sign up, they're simply going to leave. It's as simple as that, okay? You need to treat every day as an opportunity to sell and also deliver, and not in a pushy way, but with intention and conviction. And another thing I should mention here, don't keep changing your offer. Stick with your pricing for 12 months or even more, but just make sure that you constantly evaluate everything prior to changing the structure. Very important. You need to trust in the process, get your system working with 12 clients before you even think about scaling. And you can take more than one client per month, if the opportunity arises, but only if you can deliver on your promise. Because the moment that you break your word, you don't just lose the client, you will lose your reputation. So you really need to stay disciplined, keep evaluating, keep refining, and do whatever it takes to hit your 12-month goal. And once you do that, everything opens up. You now have time, you have resources, you have momentum, but most importantly, you now have a business that you can scale with confidence. Now this wraps up my video today. And if you found this helpful, then over the next few weeks, I'm going to dive deeper into the strategies that help business owners create predictable income, reduce stress, and finally build something sustainable. And remember, you don't need to set the world on fire from the very beginning. You only need to have your goal and the steps outlined to achieve that goal. And leave a comment below. Tell me, what recurring revenue idea are you thinking of building this year? So thank you very much for watching. And if you've liked this, then please like and subscribe, as you'll be the first to see my next video in the business growth series. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.